shotgun in a Nissan Sentra sr20 with a DT. Lovely. And I'm with Shafeeq.
Yeah, hi guys.
So Shafeeq, just quickly off the back, more or less how long have you had the car now?
You can say not quite a year, but almost a year. Yeah.
Do you know how I ended up finding the car? Just interesting.
Nah, I don't know.
I was actually looking for a 200 S6 myself.
Oh, okay.
And I searched sr20det,
Yeah.
and then your car popped up. And so for people who are watching outside of SA or outside of Cape Town, maybe the sr20det in the UK and in the US, it's a common engine, but in Cape Town it's a special thing to have because we never got them.
Exactly.
So when you have a DET, it's something special. And it's the kind of engine I personally always wanted. And I mean, if you think back to like what time frame we grew up in, or I grew up in, was the Fast and the Furious days.
Yeah.
And Johnny Tran looking for sr20s on the freeway. So there's that. And then also this specific car, the Sentra. So it's like okay, I'm not going to mention that because I have another video coming up with a Honda probably next week. And just like that car, this car has a very special place for me because growing up I was always a Nissan guy.
Okay.
I always wanted a Nissan, and the irony is my first car ended up being a Honda. My first 7 cars ended up being Hondas. And then I went on to having a Toyota, I went on to having Audi, now BMW, and the irony is I've never owned a Nissan.
Oh, I see, but you actually wanted to.
I always wanted to. This car, so yeah, some insight. You sent me a picture of the dyno sheet for this car, and the first thing that caught my eye was the torque number. So I don't know if you want to tell them what that number is.
422 Newton meters. Yeah.
422 Newton meters. And how much kilowatts are we pushing?
It was 244.
244. Yeah. That is extremely decent. So people might think like that sounds like a small number in today's world.
Yeah.
But when you consider the weight of Japanese sports cars, when these cars came out, 240 Newton meters with 240 kilowatts with 422 Newton meters of torque in a car that weighs this little.
Yeah,
that's
something else.
A beast. Yeah, so I don't know if you want to mention the mods that have been done so far. That's been done to the car.
Well, to be quite honest with you, there has been mods done to the car. Okay. Like for an example, forged rods, forged pistons, bigger RC injectors. That's 550 cc's to be exact. It has 2 fuel pumps, one at the back, one in front, running through a surge tank.
Okay.
To feed those injectors. It's been made from distributor to coil packs, so for better spark. And it's running a custom turbo manifold. And the turbo actually is not a very big turbo. It's actually a TB28.
Okay.
Turbocharger. Yeah. So the boost come in not too late, I'd say.
Okay, so it doesn't take a lot to spool him up.
Yeah, it's working very well for the car.
So you have basically power on tap whenever you need it. It's there.
Yeah.
That's nice. And also what I'm hearing from the mods that you're mentioning, it's not just all about power, it's also taking no chances, because a lot of people don't realize this, but sometimes you're fitting certain things. It's not just to increase performance, but it's because you know those things are going to last, man.
Yeah,
so
exactly.
that you can daily, and I'm guessing you daily drive the car, right?
Every day. There's not a single day that I don't drive the car.
And that, so don't let your father tell you that you can't build a Japanese sports car, that you can drive it. It can be done. It's just about making sure you use the right things at the end of the day. And so on that note, like, what's it like to daily drive the car basically?
You know, it's actually very comfortable. I mean, I'm a guy, I used to own a lot of Golfs, okay? Because, you know, a Golf is very lightweight, and if you put the fast engine in then it's a pocket rocket.
Yeah, it's like what do they say in Cape Town? For every car, there's a Mark 1 Golf.
But I just, you know, I got the feel for this car. I got the feel for it, not for this car in particular first, because I never knew about the car, but I got a feel for the Nissan 200 STI new spec, and I was actually looking at getting myself a VVL.
Okay.
But then I came across this car. It's an ex-Eastern Cape car, but the car was actually initially built in Johannesburg, fully built in Johannesburg. The whole setup was built in Johannesburg.
Basically a no rust car.
yeah, no rust, no rust at all. Non-accident damage, nothing like that. It was very well looked after. And when I found out it was a DT, that actually was very intriguing for me, because I always wanted a turbocharged car, but I never looked at the Nissan 200 STI as a turbocharged car, because the in thing has always been VVL.
But if ever I were to go Nissan, to either, like everybody knows by now because of my 135 video, one of my dream cars is definitely 370Z. That's something I would love to have.
Yeah.
But other than that, RB25, sr20det, those are probably the engines I'd be looking at getting myself to.
Yes.
And the other thing is also, because of the fact that these engines have been used for motorsport for such a long time, and across various sports, like people use them for drag racing, people use them in drift balls when they throw them in 200 SXs.
Yeah.
So it's across all of the platforms. Because of that, there's so much aftermarket parts that you can go for.
Exactly.
Yeah,
exactly.
it's really awesome. And what's it like in terms of fuel, basically? That's the one question. I know you don't build a performance car for fuel consumption.
Probably any performance car driver is going to tell you that if you're going to cruise the car, right, it's going to be quite, it's going to be very light on fuel. But once you're going to put your foot down,
and that's where it starts.
That's going to, then that is when it's going to start taking up a lot of fuel and so forth.
Also, I must say, like, there's a slight bit of drone with the exhaust. It's loud. I'm not gonna lie, I love I love that loud sound. Yeah. It's not everybody's cup of tea.
Actually, that was one of the things not too long ago I actually installed into this car. It's a 76mm downpipe or a 76mm straight stainless steel exhaust system with one back box.
And which box do you have at the back?
To be quite honest with you, it's one of that Speed brands.
Okay,
Speed.
so Speed.
So yeah, you can buy it from a lot of exhaust companies nowadays. It's anything.
I was looking at the style. The reason why I'm asking is because the style looks like the Shafeeq back box, basically.
That is what I requested.
Yeah, it's really nice. I've always liked that look, man.
Yeah.
I like that you can get away with that on the Japanese cars. I mean, if I were to put something with that type of design on my car, it just wouldn't work, man. That's the one thing I love about these Japanese cars. And once again, it comes down to that aftermarket. The aftermarket for these cars are huge.
Yeah.
There's so much options.
Yes.
And then, like I was saying, there's drone, but it's livable. Like we're driving and we don't even need to talk loud over that the exhaust sound.
Exactly.
So yeah, at least we can have conversation. Yeah.
I drove in a Runix RSI once, I think with a similar setup, and we couldn't hear each other. It's like, you need to rather need to stop, or you come by a robot or a stop street and you get to.
Yeah. Whenever you get a chance, we can get a feel for what it pulls like. When we were driving up here, so I was following in the BMW on our way here, and I actually said to my wife, I was in love with the sound. And you don't plan on doing anything else now? Yeah.
You know what, to be quite honest with you, a lot of people ask me that question, but the car is, to me, the car is fully sorted.
Yeah.
Actually, tomorrow we're hitting the dyno again, just to creep a bit more, get more power out of the car.
Okay.
Because the car, it's in, how can I say, it's always happy to make more power.
Yeah.
There's never been a time whereby told me
that,
you need to run ethanol or methanol. Yeah. And it's all on pump fuel, which is kind of cool, because you don't really need to worry about, how can I say, running ethanol or methanol.
Yeah.
And you can basically drive every day on pump fuel. You can stop by any garage or whatever and just throw in petrol, which most guys doesn't really have that opportunity to do that.
Yeah. When especially with a car that's making really decent power.
Exactly.
Oh, that sound though. Oh. I love that flutter. Damn nice. You can feel the pulling power, and that's where that torque comes in. It's ridiculous. And on top of it, you guys don't see this on camera, but we're actually going uphill right now, and this thing is pulling like a monster
up the mountain.
Yeah, that's not easy to achieve. That takes proper power and proper torque as well. And so, for those of you who are interested, and I guess this is also the reason why you're not still doing much more on the car now, the car is actually for sale.
It's for sale, yeah.
So for anybody, like I said, I found this car by checking out the cars that was for sale. Oh, that sound! I love that thump. Lovely. I love how aggressive it is, man. And this is also the other thing. When I spoke about German cars in the previous videos, you have power and you put your foot down and you don't feel it, man. You don't get to enjoy it.
Yeah.
And this is where I wouldn't mind owning something like this. Like with the Hondas that I've owned also before, with Japanese cars, especially from this era between the 90s and the early 2000s,
Yeah.
you get that raw feel of the car and the pulling power is flipping
Exactly,
awesome.
yes, exactly.
It feels amazing.
It's actually funny, most of the time that I actually do drive on the road, and then there's like let's say another STI next to me, they always assume that it's a VVL.
Yeah.
But once I open up and they hear the turbo spooling and car dumping and then
Hashtag turbo noises. Yeah, this is something when I compare my car to yours now, like I can cruise around below 2000 RPM, and because from the outside the car looks completely stock, so people don't know what's under they don't know what they're getting if I decide to put down.
Exactly.
You unfortunately don't have that luxury now, because people spot the car and they know.
They know.
Yeah, especially to those of you who don't know, when you see a Sentra in this color, you already know it's probably an STI or it's a VVL. That's the first thing that comes up. And then you see this lovely intercooler sitting out front, and then you know turbo, and then you hear the car when you open them up, and it's stunning. I love this car actually.
Thanks, man.
I think I need to speak to my wife. Maybe I should take the ferrets. No, I'm really enjoying it. And this is the thing, like I said in the 86 video, sometimes power isn't everything. Like for me, the fun factor is more important, but this car on the other hand, it's got the fun factor and the power. So it's the best of both worlds.
And also, let me just say one thing, that it has the reliability.
Yeah.
I mean, the comfort of getting in every morning, starting up the car, warming up the car, and then driving wherever you want to drive to. It's really amazing for me. That's actually something that topped all the cars which I owned before.
Okay.
There's never a time where the car breaks off or it gives a problem. You don't need to worry about where you want to drive to. If you now want to take a trip to, let's say, Joburg or Ceres or wherever you want to be,
you hop in and go.
You get in and go. The only thing that I do with this car is I keep my hand on it in terms of servicing.
Yeah, that's the most important thing.
I just did brakes on it now. I told you yesterday.
Yeah.
I'm gonna do brakes, new discs.
You were a champion that the whole car was serviced just to
Yeah.
get this out of the way, which is really awesome. There's just one thing I'm gonna ask, like on top of that, when you have a turbocharged car like this, when you're making power like this, the one thing that's always difficult for a lot of people is the clutch that they run, man. So what is it like? What's the clutch like? The clutch feel?
This is actually one thing that I actually wanted to mention, but I forgot to mention it. So I'm doing what a lot of guys never thought would be done. I'm running a stock standard blue clutch bought over the counter.
What? And it's running this decent stuff.
The car is currently on 1 bar boost. Everyone told me that the blue clutch is going to just keep up 0.8, 0.9.
Okay. I'm
running a bar, and tomorrow we're going to take it hopefully 1.5 bar just to see
what it's like.
What it's like. If I don't like it, whereby there's too much wheel spin, then we're probably just going to drop it to maybe 1.2 or 1.3 or something like that.
Nice.
But yeah, it's the difference between, everyone asks me what did I do different when fitting the loop clutch. Obviously I skimmed my flywheel, I bought a brand new loop clutch and pressure plate, and what I've done, what I did was I've driven it in for about 500 k's.
Okay, so you made sure you adhered to
I didn't launch the car for 500 k's, I didn't drive it fast. And
that must have been difficult.
Yeah, it took me about two, say 3 weeks.
Okay.
But now, I mean, I'm enjoying it. You can see I'm picking up speeds on, up the mountain.
While you're going uphill, that's insane.
And it's a loop clutch kit, so it still gives me a comfortable drive. Because with button clutches, which I used to have in my previous cars,
it's a nightmare, especially in traffic.
It's a nightmare. Yeah. You can't really enjoy driving a car.
Yeah. Then daily driving, you start to think like, nah, you need something else.
Exactly.
Is there anything else that you'd like to point out first before we cap off?
Look, to me, I mean, useful the car for yourself and so forth. There's nothing else I could really say. It's the only thing that I like to emphasize on is the reliability of it. Because with most fast cars, or let's say with most cars that makes a lot of power, there's always a factor of how long is it going to drive for.
Yeah.
When is it going to break? But now the setup has been built properly. Like I say, forged pistons, forged rods, blueprinted, balanced. Everything has been done by spec, and that's all thanks to, let's say, the previous owner that was from Johannesburg. Initially, the actual one that built it.
You put the work in, basically.
Yeah, that put the work in. Yeah.
All right, buddy. I
Yeah.
think that's all for today.
No
Shot
problem.
so much for having us. And don't forget to